Welcome to Tiny Pep Talks for Step Parents, a short weekly podcast with new episodes every Sunday. For today's pep talk, gratitude, schmratitude. Surviving the holiday season when you're not feeling particularly grateful for step family life. It's an irritating irony of life in a step family that during the holiday season, when everyone else is talking about gratitude and togetherness and the importance of family, many of us in blended families are struggling real damn hard to feel thankful for anything at all. Traditional families get extra time with their kids at the holidays, school breaks, long weekends, traveling all together to visit the grandparents or whatever. In a step family, that extra time can be its own stressor. It's also just as likely that we'll end up with even less time than usual with our kids and or stepkids, depending how the custody schedule falls. Either way, enter all the mixed feelings, combined with the pressure we put on ourselves to create special moments and really make them count, which only increases this time of year. Can't everyone just get along so we could make some happy memories together already? Sheesh. Step parents already juggle a lot of stress and anxiety, which doubles, quadruples over the holidays. A disproportionate amount of holiday angst seems to land directly on the step parents' shoulders. Like, if anyone's going to be a good sport this holiday season, it had better be us. So how do we escape this pumpkin pie scented pressure pot? Or can we escape it at all? Is it even possible to stake out some calm amid all the chaos, to just breathe a minute? Skip the drama and friggin' celebrate like a normal family? Focus on gratitude and the importance of togetherness like every other house on the block? The answer is yes, absolutely we can. But first, let's start by acknowledging just how hard feeling thankful even is. Even without high conflict, navigating stepfamily life gets mega complicated this time of year. A while back, I read a well-meaning blog sharing tips for stressed out step-parents over the holidays. Be flexible, the author advised. If your stepkids are used to having pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, but you normally make apple pie, just make both. Sure, just make both. Just double our own workload to make everyone else happy. Totally, no big deal. It reminds me of the time that Dan suggested my stepdaughter and I cook Thanksgiving dinner together. Only what my stepdaughter actually wanted to cook was 2 different types of curry. Traditional, super involved, cook all day curry. I was like, Dan, our stove only has 3 working burners and I already need 4 for Thanksgiving dinner. Couldn't stepkid just help me cook regular Thanksgiving dinner and we could do like leftover turkey curry the next night? And he was so mad that I didn't instantly, enthusiastically agree that he called me a negative Nelly and stormed off. Well, the Dan equivalent of storming off, which was basically him just silently and unhappily leaving the room. Luckily, our dinner dilemma was solved by my stepdaughter arriving armed with a couple giant Ziploc bags full of curries she'd already made with her mom. It's the one time I felt genuinely grateful for HCBM's determination to prevent any bonding activities between her kid and me. Anyway, my point is that the pies are not the problem. The problem is that step-parents are already constantly, obsessively, full-time stressing over how to make everyone else in our step-family comfortable. We are already agonizing over how to connect with our stepkids, how to help them feel welcome and loved, even when we're not feeling particularly welcomed or loved ourselves. We're also juggling the complex logistics of planning out holiday details while mourning the loss of holiday traditions that we thought we would have as adults with our own families. And now we're supposed to make 2 kinds of pie too? I feel like a more useful list of holiday tips for step-parents would include real-world advice like how to prevent your angry tears from over-salting your gravy, or 6 quiet spots where you can always sneak away to scream into a pillow over the holidays. Because, yeah, we can make 2 kinds of pie. Sure we can, and we will, damn it, if that's what it takes for this hodgepodge mess to finally feel like a real family celebrating a real holiday together the way an actual family is supposed to. But putting in all that emotional labor, plus twice the pies, for small or not so small humans who quite possibly don't want to be anywhere near us and almost for sure won't thank us, can land somewhere between demoralizing and depressing. especially during a time of year that is supposed to be about holiday cheer, while we're over here feeling anything but. Last week, a stepmom vented to me about her stepson's paper turkey project for school. She told me that every day he adds a new feather, and on that feather, he writes something he's grateful for. It took a lot of feathers before one included her. I'm behind milk, cars, fish, food, his mom who doesn't do shit for him, and birds. What a thankless job, she said. If that isn't the most perfect metaphor for step-parenting ever, I don't know what is. I have never been so integral to the success of a project while simultaneously remaining so invisible and unthanked. And yet, there are these occasional moments, like, okay, that Thanksgiving curry. The thing is, I'd planned to spend that weekend happily alone working on my novel for National Novel Writing Month and answering to no one. Dan was supposed to take his daughter camping, and my kid was spending the holidays with her dad. But then when my stepdaughter heard I had planned to spend Thanksgiving by myself, she insisted on canceling their camping trip, telling Dan it wasn't right for me to be alone on Thanksgiving. And this coming from the kid who at that time was not acknowledging me when she walked in the door. My stepdaughter, the dichotomy. Just when I thought I had her figured out, she surprised me yet again. It's the unexpected, half-buried, hopeful nuggets like this that have kept me going through my toughest stepmomming years. Looking for gratitude can be as simple as this. Shift your focus to the tiny victories, those nearly invisible micro wins that might not count as a positive to anyone but you, and hold those little suckers as close to your heart as you can. Step-parents are optimists, all of us. Why else would we keep killing ourselves jumping through all these step-parenting hoops? We continually hope for the best, continually risk disappointment because we believe so fiercely that we can do better, be better, that our families can be better, that our relationships with our stepkids can be better. That same stepmom sent me another DM about her stepson's paper turkey. Today, he said balloons, she said, so I might be behind a lot of things, but I'm ahead of balloons. I will take it. Step parents, we're behind a lot of things, but we're ahead of balloons. And some days ahead of balloons is the best we can do. But maybe tomorrow or next month or next year, we'll rank a little bit higher. Maybe our contributions will become a little less invisible. In old-timey days, people would hold a pleasantly scented pomander up to their nose as they walked so they wouldn't smell the literal shit in the streets. Gratitude, wielded properly, can work the same way to counteract our proverbial shit. The goal of practicing gratitude isn't to paint everything all rosy and perfect when it isn't. The goal is to train your brain to look for the positives. I promise they're there someplace. Instead of knee-jerk hyper-focusing on the current disaster while simultaneously dreading the next crisis, which is a really crappy way to live, speaking from personal experience. And it's absolutely okay to start small. It's okay to get a little silly and sarcastic, like, yay, we finally worked out the holiday schedule and it was only World War III for a solid month. Gratitude in real life is like saying, okay, yes, this sucks, but at least... ... Acknowledging the difficulties while also acknowledging that, yes, there are silver linings occasionally too. A couple years ago, I picked gratitude as my word for the year. To say that year was transformative would be an understatement, but my biggest takeaway was this: gratitude is a choice. Looking for those tiny victories, that's a skill we can choose to practice or not. But if we do make that choice, then we'll find wins waiting there for us. Even if they're teensy, even if they're few and far between, they are there if we choose to see them, if we work to see them. Life in a step family, especially if there's high conflict, can stretch your mental capacity to your very limit. But finding a way to be grateful somewhere, anywhere, within that mess helped me ride out the usual emotional roller coaster with somewhat more tolerance, possibly even some grace. Maybe looking for the microscopic positives could help you too. Over on Instagram, I used to host Tiny Victory Tuesdays in my stories. New followers initially felt discouraged by this. They would DM me saying they didn't have any wins to share. I'd remind them that all we're looking for is tiny victories, and no win was too small to celebrate. Gradually, even the most stressed out step parents started sharing hesitant wins like, well, I guess I cried less this week, or my stepkid didn't completely ignore me. Tiny victories that couldn't possibly be considered wins by anyone other than step-parents who are deeply committed to finding that light at the other end of the tunnel. Tiny victories that absolutely, totally, 100% count as wins. I remember wishing for huge, unmistakable wins myself, dramatic court victories and firm boundary setting and admissions of wrongdoing by certain high conflict exes, the sexy wins, you know? Looking back though, I find that it's the tiny victories I treasure the most. Like that time my stepkid spontaneously hugged me when I surprised her by painting a fairy mural on the wall of her bedroom. Or that time the kids watched some show that made them laugh so hard they came staggering into our room trying to tell us what was so funny, and then they couldn't even talk and staggered right back out again. Those tiniest of tiny victories are the moments I hold closest in my heart. And I am so thankful I didn't overlook them just because they weren't loud, massive wins all lit up in neon lights. We all carry an image in our heads of what it means to be successfully blended, how we want the holidays to go, what our stepfamily will look like or act like once we've worked everything out and we finally feel like a real family. The good news is you're already a real family. Blending is a process, not a destination. Celebrating the holidays imperfectly totally still counts. What makes a blended family work isn't the big stuff. The future of your stepfamily is not riding on this holiday season. We become blended through hundreds of small successes and shared memories along the way. The holiday stuff, sure, but more so the everyday stuff. Look for those bright bits, those teeny tiny victories, or even just the non-sucky moments, and celebrate them for the wins they are. Those are the breadcrumbs that will lead you to blended, eventually. For now, they can at least just get you through the holidays. If you're listening to this by podcast, please check the show notes for a link to the full transcript over on Substack, along with a bunch of other resources. Reminder that now and through the rest of the holidays, we are offering 50% off our annual plans, so $40 for a full 12 months of support. We would love to see you over there.